Hello, I'm Veronica Natzia. Who is this crazy, badass woman talking and sharing? So, let me tell you who I am today. Welcome to Scaling the Impossible. I'm Veronica Natzia, and this is episode 31. So far, we've had 30 episodes in which I've learned not only to channel my knowledge, but speak to people who want to listen, learn, and know. And today, we're going to have our very first guest. Not just any guest, but a legend. A legend that at such a young age inspires hundreds of others. You know, in life, you always want to motivate yourself. You always want to become better and be better. And one thing I want you to know is that our guest today is the most powerful source of motivation in my life. I'm not going to tell you who that person is. I'm going to leave the task up to you to figure it out during this powerful episode. Well, hello. How are you today, legend?
I'm feeling really good. How about you?
I'm so pumped and so excited and honored, and I don't have words. I'm losing my words today for the very first time. So I'm going to shut up now, and why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Armani. I'm a 14-year-old grade 8 student, and I'm on a mission to help teenagers around the world find their voice and speak up openly without being afraid or judged.
That's one hell of a mission, man. Why? See, I told you, I'm very unusual. I'm almost left without words. But why is that mission really important to you, Armani?
Well, fact is, being a teenager is not easy, and many of us don't have the privilege to speak up openly to their parents and their community.
Tell me about it.
Without being afraid or judged. And I, luckily, have the privilege to speak to my mom openly about anything and everything. So this is why I want to do this and help teenagers around the world.
Holy shit, that's all I can say. You know what? I must admit that I wish I had somebody like that when I was a teenager. And you know what you're doing is so important because really and truly the struggles that we experience as teenager carry on with us, to our adulthood. Armani, based on my rich experience, for a 14-year-old to have such a big mission, I mean, you had to experience so much in your life. So I want to hear your story. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, you better grab some popcorn because this is going to be one hell of a fucking story.
I'm ready.
I was born in Canada to Israeli parents. And by the time I was 2 years old, my parents got divorced. A divorce that led to me and my mom being homeless and not even $20 to feed me. Now, you may think that at the age of 2 you can't remember much, but I remember everything. Like, when I was 3 years old, my mom bought me a Baby Alive doll because I really wanted a younger sibling. But she took me to Toys R Us. She thought she could trick me, but she should have known better. By the time I was 4.5, my wish came true, and my biracial baby sister Carmen was born. And I was the happiest kid alive. Although my mom took a lot of shit from our family members about having a biracial baby, none of that stopped her because she's the strongest woman ever, and probably the strongest woman I'll ever know.
Wow.
While so many kids come from divorced families and biracial families, a lot of them struggle with not knowing where they belong. And I luckily have a mom who kept a good relationship with my dad and my stepdad to the point where when my dad got cancer, my mom was the one who fought for him and with him. I know who I am and I know what I'm worth, and I'm the luckiest kid alive to experience the best of both worlds.
Wow, Armani, I honestly, and I'm sure our audience will agree with us, you are lucky because, I myself come across a lot of teenagers and and even adults that grew up in divorced families and are now parents themselves. You know, Armani, you mentioned something very, very important, that those kids that you're talking about that come from divorced families or biracial kids don't know where they belong. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that and just tell us what, what their experience is like?
Yeah, so a lot of my friends, they think they're guilty for their parents' divorce, and a lot of them become depressed and miserable. Even my sister, she doesn't know if she's black or white because she has a black dad and a white mom. So I get a lot of questions from that.
And how do you deal with that, Armani? Like, how do you, you know, even your sister. So when she comes to you or you come across her asking, okay, what am I, a black or a white? So really, how do you deal with this? How do you answer her? How can you help her?
Yeah, so my sister's 9, so she always asks me if she's black or white. And I tell her she's so lucky because she could be black one day and white another.
So just like you said, she can experience the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And what is her reaction to that? How does it make her feel? Like how does she act afterwards? Or
She gets really happy and then, gives me a hug.
you know what amazes me, that at the age of 14 you have so much compassion and so much wisdom. So I really wonder, how is it like growing up for you?
Well, it has been one hell of a ride. No matter how hard things got, I always laughed it off because I knew I had my mom's back and we'll get over it in no time.
Wow.
There are 3 principles I'm raised by. Number 1, do not steal. Number 2, do not lie. And number 3, do not do drugs. Other than these 3 things, I have complete freedom. And how many kids do you know that can go and speak to their parents about these things openly?
I couldn't.
Oh yeah, and bad words are a definite yes in our house.
Woohoo, lucky you.
And I truly cherish the moments of laughter and my mom always saying, "We've got this, kids, let's do it."
How does it make you feel when somebody like your mom, that you obviously, love so much and I've been through so much with, how does it make you feel when your mom tells you, we've got this?
Well, I already know we've got it because we always get over the hard stuff. So yeah, it just cheers me up a little bit, and that's the most important thing to me. But it's also the good times we have accomplishing or getting over these hard times.
That's actually really interesting, because what you said is, I already know that we're going to go over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you a question. How do you know? And this is a question that I feel so many kids your age and even adults will ask you, because really and truly, we struggle, we're scared, we're afraid, we go through so much, the shit hits the fan, and then we're scared and we don't know how or if we're going to overcome something. So how do you know that you're going to overcome something before even knowing okay, we've got this?
That's really simple because you just have to have that confidence that you're going to get over it, easy. So it could be 3 months, 6 months, a year, doesn't matter. You're still going to get over it if you have that confidence. If you don't have that confidence, you could say goodbye to seeing that overcoming.
Wow. Okay. Now you blew my mind. Okay. At the age of 14, where do you get your confidence from?
My mom and my sister.
You're leaving me speechless, to be honest with you. And you have the confidence. You obviously have the skills. And again, you have this huge mission. And what I would really like to know is, how do you plan to fulfill that mission?
I've been in the business with my mom for a while now, And by the way, she's the #1 female life coach of 2021 and on a mission to end world hunger. I myself am planning to become a certified life coach within the next few months.
Woohoo!
And I'm going to be launching my own podcast, Unpack Your Brains, next month. And it's going to be completely dedicated to teenagers finding their voice. And I'm going to be providing them the tools so they can overcome their struggles and live a better life.
You are blowing my mind, buddy. But I want to ask you one question as a coach. Okay? What does coaching mean to you?
Simple. It means turning lives from just living into meaning.
Turning lives from just living into meaning. Wow. Armani, why have you chosen to go on this journey?
My friends who come from divorced families have always asked me, how come you can see your dad with whenever you want or whenever they get together on birthdays or events without killing each other?
That's an interesting question right there.
A lot of main questions they ask me is like, how come they don't hate each other? And how come they care for each other and they're always there for each other? They always ask me how the hell I could talk to my mom about anything and everything. And a lot of the time they ask me, how are you so happy and confident? And, looking at life and understanding that my friends or these kids, these struggles that they're going through, and knowing that I could help this is why I chose to go on this journey.
Okay, you're super focused. You seem very clear on what you want. You're very extremely aware of the skills that you possess and your abilities. And me personally being a confidence and business coach, I know people who bullshit and are not confident, and you're not one of them. So I can tell you're not only confident, you are super confident. So, Mr. Armani, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
My brand and movement will create hundreds of other Armanis who will be helping the next generations become more confident and live their potential to the fullest. I've been to over 15 countries and see myself taking a grand world tour with my mom and my sister, empowering others.
Armani, to be able to live your potential to the fullest, you must have confidence. It's just impossible without having confidence. And I want to share something with you that my dad has taught me at a very young age. My father was my inspiration. He was my motivation. He was everything to me. And, he taught me that if we live life as our authentic selves, we will pay a hefty price. But if we live life not as our authentic self and try to be someone that we are not, we're going to pay even a heftier price. So it's up to us to choose the price we want to pay. And reality is that it's impossible to live your potential to the fullest without having the confidence to live and lead your life as your authentic self. And again, I wish that I not only realized it at a younger age, but really started practicing it at a younger age, say your age. I really, truly can't wait to see what your potential truly is and how you're going to fulfill it and live it to the fullest. And, I just really want to ask you, who inspires you, Armani?
My mom and my sister, they're everything to me. They're my courage and motivation.
Well, having your mom and having your sister as your motivation and is your courage. You can't go wrong. I mean, listen, it just doesn't get any better than that. One more question, Armani, that I have to understand. Okay, now I'm being like, I have to understand. What is your major driving force?
It's the desire to do good in this world, and I've been with my mom at rock bottom, and this is exactly what I want to teach others to do and help them rise.
You know, Armani, you are genuinely a legend, and I really have no doubt whatsoever that you will help others not only pull through hard times, not only pull themselves up, but really rise and succeed and live their potential to the fullest. Armani, I have learned so many lessons in my life. And at the age of 14, you surprised the heck out of me how many lessons you've learned. So I would like to ask you, what is the most valuable lesson? I can't believe I'm asking this question, a 14-year-old. Oh my God. But I'm going to ask it anyway. You inspire the heck out of me. So what is the most valuable lesson that you can teach your younger self and future self?
Never do a half-assed job. You either do it all or you don't.
Damn. Never do a half-assed job. You either do it all in or you don't. Holy shit. Well, legends, this is it. We've heard it from this young powerhouse. And you know what? I just can't wait to see the next 5 years and 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. I can't wait to see the impact that you're going to create on a global scale. And I just want to tell you that I honor you and I'm proud of you. And thank you for sharing the space with me. I'm truly grateful to you. And thank you for being the most powerful source of motivation in my life. Thank you for teaching me what it takes to not only pull through and survive, but to rise. At the end of the day, legends, whether you knew it or not, I owe my journey, my success, my life, all to this young legend. Well, if you haven't figured out who he is yet, I'll be super surprised. No, that's it. Don't put that. Take that out.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't figured it, out who See, this is where I get my emotional mommy out.
It's okay. I love it. Go.
Well, Armani, before we let you go, please let our audience where they can connect with you, follow you, and rise with you.
The easiest way to connect with me will be through Instagram. It's at Armani Dome. And with the launch of my podcast, Unpacking Your Brains, you'll be able to rise with me as I show you the tools on how to become more confident and to live potential to the fullest.
Well, Armani, once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure our audience will be thanking you too. What an inspiration. And you can follow my journey on Instagram at Veronica Natzia or on my website, veronicanatzia.com. I believe in you, legends.